It's not that I hate the 787 business class seats from Etihad, but it was just so awkward and uncomfortable for literally half of the passengers in this cabin, plus a really subpar ground service to complete my day. If you have watched my previous video, you know how much I love their brand new business class seats in their Airbus A350-1000, but it was shocking the moment I stepped out of that flight. Everything was disappointing. Well, it looks like we have a lot to talk about today. Fast forward to Etihad's business class lounge. Let me tell you what just happened in the transit area while I quickly show you the lounge, as I don't have much time left before my flight. We are just gonna wing it. You know, all transit passengers need to go through security and baggage scanning in major airports in the Middle East, right? But this airport is particularly bad in that regard. I couldn't capture any footage in their security area for obvious reason, but just picture this. There was a separate lane for first and business class passengers, but nobody cared. I was only about 3 meters away from the scanner, but it took me 1 hour and a half to go through because everyone kept cutting into my lane. It was chaotic and there was no enforcement whatsoever. Yes, everyone has a flight to catch and not just me, but then why did they even bother having a dedicated lane for us? It was supposed to elevate the overall experience for their premium passengers, similar to the fast-track service offered in London Heathrow Airport. But I can't blame the people who just wanted to catch their flights. The onus is on Etihad and the airport. Clearly, they have given up at this stage about almost everything in this old terminal. Even this lounge, as you can see, but the good news is there's a brand new terminal slated to open end of this year, and I think everything will improve from there on. Anyway, the rant is over, it's time to board. If you watch till the end of this video, I'll also mention how I paid only $125 for this flight. Well, it's actually cheaper than that, but more on that later. Today's flight is part of my larger trip starting from Mexico City to Istanbul with Turkish Airlines, connecting to Abu Dhabi with Etihad's brand new A350 and continue on to Singapore with their existing Boeing 787-9. Upon entering, I found the elegant color theme throughout the cabin, similar to their latest business class product from the A350, but the layout is hugely different. Let's take a look. There are 28 business class seats in this cabin, 7 rows of 4s in a 1-2-1 layout. Half of the seats are beside the aisle and are facing backwards. It's such a double whammy. If you paid with cash or used points to redeem a spot in this cabin, I don't think anyone would be happy with these seats, unless you are upgraded for free unexpectedly. I mean, it's still a visually appealing cabin with the color theme and stuff, but I can't help but to envy those 6 passengers who got the private window seats. If you happen to at least secure a forward-facing middle seat as a solo traveler, you have the issue of sitting beside a stranger, but that's not too bad. You can always just lower down the partition, but the main issue is that you have direct line of sight with the seat opposite of you across the aisle, and it's simply awkward during the entire flight. So the TLDR is that half of the 28 seats in this cabin really suck. Another 8 forward-facing seats in the middle are kinda awkward, and only 6 window seats are truly awesome. And I do mean it, those window seats are private and spacious, but I have to judge the business class seats and the cabin as a whole, because some people do get the bad seats. Today, I'm seated in 5F, no window seats. Maybe that's why I was grumpy. So there's not gonna have filler shots like takeoff or landing because I can't see them, and the cabin is full. As mentioned before, there is a partition you can use if you are sitting in the middle. It goes up or down with just a press of a button. I definitely extended it upwards as soon as I could, and it looks like a pretty decent seat from this angle. But keep in mind that this is the view from the other seat. Now you can see how wide open it is from the other person's perspective. Now let's do the usual seat tour. The blanket is wrapped and placed under the IFE screen on the footrest prior to my arrival. Right next to it is the USB charger, IFE remote control, and the light control panel. And below it is the seat control. Beside the seat is this beautiful and elegant side lamp. Below it is the armrest with a large storage space. Inside, you'll find the noise cancellation headphone and a bottle of water. Below the armrest is the literature pocket where the menu and a safety card are placed, and a little extra space for me to put my amenity bag, in which I'll show you in just a bit. There's also some space between your seats and the armrest compartment to put some random stuff. Because the IFE screen is pretty far away from you, don't try to use the touchscreen system. just use the remote control, unless you want to do lots of sit-ups in this flight, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now they do have quite a catalog of entertainment, so if you don't want to stare at the person opposite of you the whole time, there's something you can watch here. The seat comes with this large table that looks like a brick. Very sturdy though, but let's check out this beautiful amenity bag by Acqua di Parma, an Italian luxury brand that is part of the larger LVMH group. There's your body lotion, eye mask, dental kit, and a sample size cologne. Let me just put them out nicely for a photo op. I'm slightly underwhelmed by the content inside the bag though, but I have to say it is one of the nicest amenity bag I've seen in a while. Really like the color choice for this amenity bag. Not gonna bore you to sleep with the safety video where everyone walks in slow motion, unless you really do want to fall asleep. After takeoff, cabin crew came over to take our dinner order. Let's have a look at what they have. Feel free to pause the video to take a closer look. For the starter, I ordered the Arabic meze and the smoked salmon. Both are delicious, nothing to complain here. As for the entree, I got the sambal sea bass. Now I do like spicy food, so this works very well for me. As for the dessert, I wanted to try something different. I got the traditional Arabic ali. Is that how you pronounce it? And what is it, you ask? Think of it as the bread pudding of the Middle East. It is super delicious and easily the highlight of tonight's meal. After the meal, with around 5 hours left to go, let's try to catch some sleep. The single best thing about these seats is the amount of legroom. It's larger than even the new A350s, so that's the little saving grace of these seats. This bed is 6 feet 4 in length. It is definitely shorter than the one in the A350s, but this seat here has so much more surface area for your feet to move around. If we are only comparing which bed is more comfortable to sleep on, then hands down it will be this one in a 787. Now I may dislike this business class cabin overall, but I do have to point out the strength here. Since there wasn't much time left before landing, I ordered just some pastry and coffee as breakfast. So let me give you my fair review of this journey as we are landing. Trust me, we are. I just don't have the landing footage. Etihad has done a fantastic job at bringing in their brand new business class seats in their A350s. I love that flight, nothing to complain about. But what followed was a mess in the transit area in Abu Dhabi airport, which both Etihad and the airport did not do enough to elevate the experience for the premium passengers. And the lounge was also a little bland and crowded, but I know solutions are on the horizon. Once the new terminal is open, the operation will be transferred there and all aspects will be improved, I hope. Etihad 787 business class is mostly bad for passengers. Out of the 28 seats, only the 6 window seats I would consider great. The 8 middle seats are awkward and the 14 aisle seats are simply undesirable. But the leg room and the food are definitely some saving grace for this experience. As we are now landed in Singapore Changi Airport, let me tell you how I got this flight for only $125. I used Aeroplan to redeem all 3 flights all the way from Mexico City to Istanbul, Abu Dhabi and Singapore for only 110,000 Aeroplan miles. And of course, there's always some miscellaneous fees involved, which in this case, only $125. Well, I hope this video is useful for you. Stay tuned to next week's video. The legendary Singapore airline is coming up next.